gotta cover Bitcoin. As you can see, we are at 72K inside of Bitcoin right now. Literally, we've been going up for like the past week. But there's a few things that I want to mention that I'm noticing here inside of the strength of this pump. So we're going to talk about this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this financial advice. But let's get straight into it. And like I mentioned before, we're at 72.2K. And as you can see, we're up 7.8% in the last 24 hours, or in the last 7 days, actually. Only 1% in the last 24 hours. But anyways, we are still literally climbing and climbing and climbing. And I know I've been mentioning lately that we are kind of inside of this, weird bull trap scenario, right? And I've mentioned that we also had a resistance area rather than just a resistance level. I put a whole resistance area because there's multiple areas or multiple spots of this area where we've actually had major resistance. So I've set this as our resistance area. And funny enough, this is the exact same area that we've actually just now stopped in. And this is the area that I mentioned that we could quite possibly go in, right? It was after we had this first bull trap right here, which it was a bull trap, and they trapped the bears, right? And we know that because ascending triangles are what? They're bullish signals. So what did they try to do here? They tried to trap the bulls right here, and then it started to go up, and that's where they trapped the bears. So after that first bull trap and then bear trap happened, we had the second one, right? We had this ascending triangle up here. So this ascending triangle up here was the second one, right? And what happened here is they bull trapped people and then they dumped. And then what happened here? They ended up bear trapping people literally immediately after they bull trapped people, right? So they bear trapped, or they bull trapped people, and then they bear trapped people. And now what are we seeing here again? Now we are seeing this getting up to another range up here inside of this. This is like our resistance area, right? Now there's a few things that I'm seeing with this. And the first thing is that we're kind of creating a bull flag, right? So I am pretty bearish on the market right now, but I'm not going to deny that this right here is not a bull flag. I'm not going to deny that it's not a bull flag, right? This is what a bull flag looks like. It's literally the complete opposite of a bear flag. So this is the bear flag. And then as you can see here, bull flag, complete opposite. And this right here is the example of a bull flag. As you can see, it comes up like a flagpole. And then this is where you have the flag right here, right where I'm marking it here. And this right here is the flagpole. This is the flag, and this is the continuation breakout. So this is pretty much how bull flags work, right? So that's pretty much what we're seeing here on Bitcoin, where we are seeing this bull flag. So there's a possibility that we could actually break out of this level right here. There's a possibility we can break out of this. So if we break out on this resistance, we're then looking for 76K because we've had resistance previously at 76K. So if I come back here to our 4-hour chart, you can see that's pretty much the next area of major resistance for Bitcoin is 76K. And then if 76K were to be broken, then we have that Fibonacci resistance all the way up at 79K. So we have the Fibonacci resistance all the way up here at 79K. So that's pretty much what we're looking at here with Bitcoin. Now, we also have the %R trend exhaustion indicator right here. This is the 4-hour chart that we're on, and we are looking a bit overbought here on the 4-hour chart. So typically once we get into this area on the overbought area of the %R trend exhaustion, we usually have a pullback, right? And it usually always happens like that. We're pretty much inside of that range where a pullback should be coming soon, but doesn't mean that it can't push a little bit higher, right? Because around in this area, we had the same thing going on, right? And that was right around here. And then it kept going up until it completely got overbought. So what would that look like? Well, that looked like it going up to 76K, and then it got overbought and sold off. So what I'm pretty much saying is there's a possibility that we could see this doing the same thing, pushing up to 76K and pulling back. From there, we would have to see what starts to happen from there. But, lots of buying pressure is going on right now. Lots of buying pressure. So the bears have pretty much gotten trapped. It's been a scenario of the bulls getting trapped left and right during this bear market, but now the bears are starting to be the ones that are getting trapped. So this is an interesting turnaround of events inside of the market, right? And then we have the daily chart here. Now the daily chart tells us a whole nother story, right? If you look at the daily chart, I always talk about when you see the white line, which is the short-term trend, breaking far past the blue line, which is the long-term trend on the percent R trading exhaustion. How when this happens, it's typically a sign that we're about to get a pullback, because as this short-term trend breaks far past the long-term trend, it eventually has to come back down because it's becoming overbought and the long-term trend's not following it. So when it does come back down, that's when we see a drop in our price, right? Because the long-term trend's not following. So then we see a complete drop inside of the price, almost like a shark tooth, right? That's kind of what it looks like, and it's kind of how it builds up all the time. You can see it there. You can see it on that one. You can see it on that one. And if I come back here, I guarantee you can see even more times where you see it coming up and then just going right back down because the long-term trend is not following it. So there is a possibility that we could be creating that bull trap that I was mentioning there. So, it's one thing. And then also, you also have to remember bullish divergence. This right here, bullish divergence. Boom, boom. Higher lows on the MACD is pretty much bullish divergence. So if you look right here, we see higher lows on the MACD down here, while getting those lower lows on the charts. Now, we're kind of starting to create higher lows on the charts. So that could be a scenario where we might get bull trapped, right? Because we did create a lower low here, but we should have technically created a lower low down here for our bullish divergence and then see a breakout. But we didn't really do that. We're actually creating higher lows. If you look at it, we're creating higher lows here on the charts while simultaneously creating higher lows on the MACD, which could be a sign that this bullish divergence is actually a bull trap, right? So there's a possibility that we're looking at a bull trap here being formed. So it's a lot of different scenarios. And at this point, you just got to be patient. At this point, you just got to be patient. But yeah, we're inside of this resistance area. It does look like we're going to possibly push past it and get up to 76K before we get another drop, another pullback on the market. So we'll see how that ends up happening and how it ends up playing out. But yeah, we're crossing 73K right now as we speak. So I don't think it's going to take it too long to break out of this range. I think within the next, maybe even by the end of the day, it might break out of this range, because we literally just now tapped the top of the range. And it's crazy how I have it literally marked at the exact area that it just now taps. You can see the top of that candlestick wick right there comes all the way up to the top of the range. So it's pretty accurate. It's a pretty accurate call right there. So yeah, anyways, we're just going to have to see what happens. We're going to have to see if it breaks past this, how far it'll break past it. But one thing we can be sure about, if you guys want to trade Bitcoin and do futures trading, perpetuals trading with up to 75x leverage on Bitcoin, check out the link in the description for Advantisfy. And you can go ahead and do it through the link inside the description. You can trade oil, you can trade Forex on here, and you can trade stocks, crypto, all of that. And it's literally all DeFi. So go ahead and check out the link in the description. This is pretty much my favorite exchange right now. So go ahead and check it out, all that good stuff. If you don't want to learn how to do your technical analysis, which I highly recommend you learn how to do technical analysis. But if you don't want to, also check out the link in the description for Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators in the game. The Chart Prime indicators are showing us that we're actually at a premium price point. Let me take off all the other indicators. So now you can just see these are all the automated indicators. It creates them for you. You can check out the link in the description. Try it risk-free for 7 days for Chart Prime. So go ahead and check that out. They got some good deals going on. You can do the monthly or the yearly deal, and some really good deals going on. So check that out. And as you can see here, it literally marks everything for you. You have your momentum wave bands showing you when the momentum's increasing and then when the momentum is slowing down. So what we're also seeing here on the Chart Prime indicators, we're at the premium price point. And you can also see the volume indicator over here showing that lots of volume is happening here. So very, 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 very good. And you would have also known when we were at the discounted price point around 67.8K. That would have been another good buying area for you. But anyways, this is all I got for you guys today. And before we close this video out, I kind of want to go over what other people are saying in the market. I like to end the video off like this because it's just good. Anyways, this person says Bitcoin looks to have found its bottom. Sorry, bears, it's game over. Notice how people literally will switch in on the drop of a dime. The second it starts to look bullish, everybody's immediately on the bull side, right? Everyone is immediately on the bull side. So this guy then says everyone is still doubting, but I'm telling you straight, the bottom is already locked. I guarantee you this guy was super, super bullish a few months ago. Maybe he wasn't. All right, maybe he wasn't. I don't know who this guy is, but maybe he wasn't, but I don't know. Because like everybody's just literally flip-flopping at this point. Literally. So we'll see. We'll see where the market goes, and we'll see what people start talking about next week, because like I said, everybody's going to be flip-flopping. Everybody except me, I'm not flip-flopping. So yeah, I guess this guy was still bullish, like even as things were dropping. Bitcoin maxi, I'd see it as. But what I think that people should be doing is not being too hard on the bears, not being too hard on the bulls, but being right in between, right? If you want to be right in between the market, like that's really where you want to be, right? March 12th, this guy was saying, hey, it's heating up fast. The momentum in the market's heating up fast as Bitcoin went up to 71K March 12th. And then after that, what happened? Well, Bitcoin went all the way down to 60K after March 12th, right? It went all the way down to 60K. So we've seen it pump, and then we've seen it dump back down to like 65, somewhere around there. So, you got to be very, very, very careful. But yeah, this is all I got for you guys today. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, check out the link in the description for Avantisfy. And eventually I'm going to start doing some live trading for you guys on Avantis. I think that'll be pretty interesting. But anyway, shout out to you guys. As always, I'll be back with another video.